Not easy to show our model, and you're really, really, really excellent at it. So
I'm trying my best. Today, I have something really special for you guys. I'll be doing an interview with Patrick Olm, the CEO of Charles Girardier, a new player in the luxury watch segment. We'll be going over a lot of different things, including the brand, the design inspirations, the watchmaking process, and a lot more. So, grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. Hi, Patrick.
hi,
Hey.
Abdullah.
Thank you so much for agreeing to see me. I know you're a busy man, and this really helps out a lot of people, I would say, to understand about your brand.
We take a lot of care to really for people to really understand what we are doing and how we're doing it, and that's why I'm very happy to give you this interview. And thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I've spoken with David Keel, the director in the Asia branch, and the story is quite fascinating. It's a very unique story. There's a very strong heritage. Could you introduce a little bit about the brand and the brand story, and also a bit about your background in terms of your experience in the watch industry?
I was working many years in wealth management, including family offices. Through my clients and my bosses, I got in touch with many very valuable items, art in many, many, many ways. Pictures, paintings, cars, and watches. So I basically have a background that is very useful for me because I can deal with those people who are buying a very expensive luxury and art. And also because I went to many auctions and I got a bit the feel of what is valuable or what could become valuable in the future. And I guess this is because of this background and also a network of investors, which imagine is very important to start up a brand because you might have a very good idea, but very often you don't get the finances for it. So I got lucky that I had this background. When I one day was in London, I got the idea to visit a museum, the Agatha Christie Museum, because one of my hobby is actually literature. I really read a lot, and I really like the way Agatha Christie put her characters, especially the Hercule Poirot with the pocket watch. So basically, I was very interested to know how she get inspiration for her novels. And it's very interesting to go there because she has all kinds of things, including poison and bags and watches and all kind of things that she used for crime scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was actually lucky to enter the room where there was some pocket watches, and I saw one from Charles Girardier, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. This must be a very famous piece, very famous watchmaker. Agatha Christie was owning Charles Girardier pocket watch, but Charles Girardier got completely forgotten. And then I started to do my own research, see that the Charles Girardier pocket watch not only were in Agatha Christie Museum, but also in Paris, in Geneva, that there were so many auctions on pocket watches of Charles Girardier. So I thought that would be quite interesting to revive such a brand that got forgotten, such a watchmaker, master watchmaker in Geneva, 1809. Not only interesting to revive a brand, but also I talked to experts and they said, yeah, the approach is quite interesting because his approach is to use enameling or to use fine painting. So he really wanted to tell us a story when he made a watch with a scene like a hunting scene or music scene or at the time, and also gave us the idea to do an animation on the dial. So you have these two elements. We thought these are DNA, the painting the dial, which must be very beautiful, preferably enamel, and we choose high fire, grand feu enameling. And not only that, but we decided to improve traditional techniques or invent actually new techniques of enameling. And at the same time, we also decided to use this idea of animation, of playful feature in our watches. And that's what you see in the Mysterious Signature. That's what you see in the Magic 8. The mystery or the magic comes from Agatha Christie, because we thought we should honor this owner. You know, she was using a lot of mystery, so we thought we should try to put a little bit of mystery and magic in the first collection. In terms of experience in watchmaking, I grew up in a family that was very close to watchmaking because my cousin did an apprenticeship at Audemars Piguet. So I was very close to him, and he showed me basically all his books and how he was learning all this. My father and grandfather were also collectors. And then when I decided to revive the brand, I decided to get coaching, and I got coaching from an ex-CEO of Laurent Ferrier since 2018, and actually is still coaching me because I wanted to do really a great job, and I needed, of course, an experienced coach. And I'm glad I did that because, as you all know, it's not that easy to set up a watchmaking brand, to sell watches. It looks like it's easy, but actually you need a great deal to reach a certain level so that people consider even buying your watches.
I completely agree with that, especially when it comes to how young your brand is. I mean, it's based on a very old heritage, but just newly revived. So, could you speak a little bit about the people that are making these watches, and how many watches do you think that you roughly produce in a year, and just a little bit about the process of the watchmaking?
I think since 2018, we are actually more focusing on branding. We're focusing on making talking piece, you know, because you have to reach a certain level of branding before you really are considering producing a lot of watches. Because why would you produce a lot of watches if you cannot sell them, right? So basically, what you do is you spend a great deal of on branding, storytelling, understand the DNA, understand how you're going to do your watch, designing. This takes already a lot of effort, a lot of attention. We managed quite well on the talking piece. The first launch of the first model, which was the Charles Girardier Mystery Signature, we actually won the GPSG, the prestigious award, in 2020. 21, we managed also to participate. We were invited at Only Watch. So these were basically our talking pieces. And you could call the Magic 8 also sort of a talking piece because it's enameling, it's innovative, it's something you've never seen. Encamailleux, which is a grading color. It's amazing color. The 8, the way we put actually the second hands in an 8, this is probably never seen. Yeah. So these are all talking piece, right? And now we are talking, right? Because now we start to have a sufficient level of branding that allows us to get interesting cooperation, partnership with distributors. We have also events which allow us to get in contact with collectors. And now we start to see the scope of what we have achieved, and slowly we are going to increase our production. We try to manage supply and demand. We are about 100 pieces a year, but definitely it should be increasing. At the same time, we want to stay niche, so we don't want to produce too many watches, and we will try to bring up some new models.
Yeah. And also in terms of the quality, that the amount of time that is spent on each watch. Could you speak a little bit about the human involvement in the watchmaking process?
The dial is I fire and enameling, so it takes 5 days to make one. You don't have 100% success. Sometimes you have bubbles, sometimes it cracks. Sometimes it takes time to actually get the proper mixture, the proper temperature. We tried sometimes silver as a plate, sometimes gold. Gold is working better. So all this requires a lot of adaptation until you really have the recipe that makes the dial sort of uniform, sort of the same dial, same color, and so on. So enamel powder is a natural product. So it could be that in 2 months, when we get the next lot of powder, it could be slightly a different blue or different green that we have now. You could say that almost any watch is a unique piece because of this slight difference in coloring and thickness of the powder. As you know, on the Magic 8, we have different thickness in the center, a little bit less thick, and then on the periphery it's getting thicker, so to give this dark color. And so of course it's never if you compare really each watches, there is here and there a little bit of a difference. So you could say it's quite unique, and it's definitely handmade. Imagine 8 times in the oven, 800 degrees. This is quite a process, and you could say that there are not many of these enameler that are capable of doing this. So already in terms of how many artists or how many artisans are able to do that, I think it's quite a few. So we feel very honored that we have such great people, craftsmanship for our brand. When it comes to finishing, this is also all finished by hands. This you have 3-4 watchmaker who really work with full attention to make a perfect finish on the bridge, perfect finish on all the corner of any part of the watch. It has to be absolutely perfect on the level of haute horlogerie. And this again requires is assembly by hand, so this also takes a while. About 300 components. You have to imagine the watchmaker. He has to be very focused, to put all this together and make sure that it works absolutely perfectly. We do have some control system. 2-3 days, it's going to be checked. We want the watch to be precise. Definitely, we offer servicing within 5 years. This is part of it. When you really love your watch, you want your watch to get service like you do for your car, and to change whatever needs to be changed, to check what needs to be checked. But basically, we really want a watch that works forever. When you look at the enamel, it's amazing. This enameling is frozen in time for centuries.
Also, this brings me to another point. In terms of the movement of especially the Magic 8, when we turn the watch around, we see a peripheral mass rotor used, which is a relatively new technology in terms of movement, especially when compared to the central rotor. Why did you go with that technique rather than the traditional center rotor?
Yeah, definitely the peripheral mass is actually beautiful because it opens up. I mean, you can see behind, you can see the movement, you can see the finish. There's nothing hidden. It's really it really is quite great for beautiful watchmaking. Apart from that, it's working very well. We have it on one ball bearing, so it's quite unusual. It's silent. It's no vibration. As you said, not many brands, Breguet or a few brands have used peripheral mass, but you don't see that often. So this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for techniques or ways of doing watchmaking that is not that often used to differentiate ourselves. And definitely the peripheral Mass has become one of our DNA, and whatever we do in the future, we will have some sort of peripheral mass, I'm quite sure, and email as well. These are has become our DNA.
There's only a handful of brands and very high-end brands like Audemars Piguet, Karl Lagerfeld, Vacheron that are using this specific type of movement. So it's quite impressive that such a new independent brand is also approaching that. Yeah, another question I had was regarding the tourbillon, because tourbillon mechanism is usually something that we expect from usually older brands or somebody who's been doing watchmaking for many years, and then they step up the game with their watches. But you guys went with a different route. You started off with the tourbillon right in the beginning. So what was the reason behind that, or the significance of the tourbillon specifically to the Charles Girardier DNA?
Well, when you observe the pocket watches of Charles Girardier, you see that there is this kinetic composition, so that there is always something in movement, right? So basically, we thought that what is more beautiful than a tourbillon as a movement, right? And we managed with the CG, with the mysterious signature, it's become like a dance. You get something that is really incredible, And so basically, we wanted to have movement. We talked to the designer that he should inspire himself from the pocket watch. So you see the case shape it looks a little bit like a pocket watch. It's a little bit thick. So it could be maybe too thick for some people, but basically we wanted to be reminded of the pocket watches, but of course a contemporary size. We took the paillon, this like snowflakes types of shapes, because we managed to find the instrument to cut them, and this is a traditional instrument that we bought from France that we went to get there. It really can cut very, very thin gold or silver, very thin layers.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to make a watch that is in movement, and at the same time that is so beautiful that it could be even for prince or princess, right? It's really, really incredible. Yeah. The idea was definitely also to present such a watch at the GPAG, right? And to make a talking piece, So of course we thought that commercially we will sell okay, but basically we wanted to, at the very beginning, set our positioning in terms of pricing and in terms of quality and in terms of what we want to show and what we want to achieve, right?
Right.
And I think this is the only way you can differentiate yourself from many, many, many brands that are starting up. You have to elevate yourself to a certain level that makes people interested, like you, to know more and to understand how did it start and how come and how did they win, and many questions, And that's how you get slowly a bit more and more known. And then after you come with the next model, and that's how you establish your brand. It's a long way.
Yeah.
And once you have achieved that, then we think there's a point where demand will be higher than supply, which is not the case today, I must tell you. But we are getting closer, and we see the demand, the interest. Just because of that, because the first model are really breathtaking. It's really breathtaking. Even the 41 models. Also, when you take a closer look, a deeper look at the depth of the dial, it's really amazing. And we go into also the strap, which is sold by hand. Everything is made in Geneva, so we really are authentic in what we are doing. Yeah. And I think they feel me also. I think I'm being not perfect in what I'm saying, how I'm saying. I don't know watchmaking like perfectly, but I'm really being authentic. And I think that's what people feel about our brand. And all the people like David Keel, these are really authentic. They're true lover of watchmaking, and this is what we have to offer. This is our appreciation of tradition of the watchmaking art, and sharing with you guys, with everybody, and we are so proud to be part of this community, and this is what makes us very happy.
What you mentioned just now, I think coming up with a brand with passion behind it, I think that's a very important trait, because another thing that I have seen personally, a lot of complaints from watch collectors and general public why they don't want to go near a brand is sometimes high-end watch brands are often, sometimes wrongfully, associated with a certain level of gatekeeping mentality or snobbery, So people, even though they have, especially when it comes to younger consumers, they might have the resources to be able to attain those timepieces. They might go for an Apple Watch, something that's a bit more approachable. What is your thinking about this? Because I don't find that from you, and even when talking to David Keel, you guys seem very, very passionate and approachable and eager to share the love and passion about the brand. Do you find this as a challenge? And if so, what are your strategies to combat this?
I hope we can keep this level of close communication. Of course, you have at a certain time a certain volume of communications that it might get difficult then to satisfy all interviews and all people asking for something. So it might give then the feeling that you don't want to talk, or you're selective, or things like that. So this, I think we have to think carefully, how can we do it so that we still are approachable, that everybody feels they can be talked to, that they can talk to us. We really try to answer all questions, and I think what has changed is the after COVID. I think we were all so happy to get out of COVID. I think everybody agreed that this is a new era. We don't really understand how, but something has changed. Also, you have a lot of young collectors. It breaks, if you want, this image that only the guy 60 above can afford a high-end watch. Nothing against wearing a Apple Watch, quite the contrary. You wear Apple Watch, but maybe later on you feel like, oh, what about something else? What else is there? And then you start to get interested in Rolex and Audemars Piguet, and then slowly maybe you get in touch with Charles Girardier, and then I think it shows very much your personality and your understanding watch making when you get in touch with Charles Girardier, because you show you're looking for something different, you're looking for art in watchmaking, and you're eager to go into maybe something new, a little bit adventurous, So we do have our community, and interesting enough, it's from many cultures, many countries, and all ages, from 60 above, 20 above. It is a human relationship, basically. Yes, we sell a watch, but there is the whole relationship in the process of getting to know Charles Girardier.
So this is what watchmaking is for a lot of people, and I think for brands, especially a lot of brands, I feel high-end brands, they don't really think about the watch community and the enthusiasts, and this is where people are actually speaking about the brand. It's in the communities, as you said, the importance of communities. And I think that what you guys are doing is really amazing in terms of connecting with people and telling the story and the significance of the Charles Girardier pocket watches, how how the DNA is transferred into a very modern contemporary approach. And again, you have a very unique story and a very unique process and even the materials that are used, like titanium for a high-end watch, especially slightly on the dressier side, it's not something that's very commonly seen. So you have very unique elements, very unique methodology and approach to high-end watchmaking, which I feel is very refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess many brands are lucky to have their iconic piece, So they repeat, and it's great in a way, but in a way, it's also make them maybe lazy and sleepy in a way, because we don't need to innovate so much, you just
Yeah.
need to change a little bit here and there, and then demand will be higher than the supply. So
Yeah.
so I think we are not in that positions, and that's why we need to be much more innovative. I think we need to be much more agile, sort of moving and understanding. So this is clear. That makes the fun of it. I would not want to, I don't know, work for Rolex or Marpiguet, even though their watch is fabulous. There's nothing to say about it. But is this really an adventure? It's already they're already at the peak, right? And
Yep.
we are on the way to the peak, and that is what makes a lot of fun.
The journey
Going
of making the watches. Yeah. Completely agree.
and sharing with who care to share. I think also we are sort of very flat hierarchy, so it goes very fast to take decisions, and we are willing to take risk. Many big institutional watchmaker, why should they take risk? Why should they try something new? It takes a lot of decisions through many layers of hierarchy to finally green light a project. And we have so many projects that we want to realize. We have to kind of slow down,
Yeah.
and do one step or there. And patience is the most difficult part, to be patient and not to rush, because we are so excited.
Very excited to see what you guys come up with next. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thank
Hope
you
to
so
speak
much.
to you soon.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was fun. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, do let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll also add the Charles Girardier website link in the description below, so definitely check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.